The Knaast, Heir by Luciana Martelo Correia. Chapter 2. Hazug and Ella. After the plan was a go, Hazug took to himself the supervision of the operations. His right hand received the task of dealing with the humans, for Acta was a very powerful, intelligent angel who fought by his side in the universe war. The first task would involve finding the woman to breed, for Acta engendered a smart course of action. Few weeks after the council, Hazug and his colonel hovered over a group of a few thatched homes, organized in a rough semicircular pattern, to watch it unfold. Insects buzzed over the little huts as a summer breeze rustled leaves. It was a late night, and the communal fire in the center of the circle reduced it to embers as the sleeping villagers rested from the hard work day. Colonel Forrect and General Hazug observed their handiwork from the sky. "There they come," Forrect pointed at a small group of human men, hiding behind the trees and moving with no sound. "Tell them to kill, and they never disappoint," the demon snorted. Pleased, Hazug slapped his subordinate's arm. "You do a great job, Colonel." "Can I cover the area with my fire to help them, General?" Hazug shook his head. "No. The laws are against it. I don't want a legion to drop by." Forrecta nodded, and they followed as the attackers approached the small village with surprise on their side. So the little community lay open to plunder and destruction. They hollered their battle cries, ready to destroy. Their reason was saving themselves a 10-minute walk to the small creek. The village under attack was closer to the water source. Neither plea nor warning left the few sentinels' mouths as they met death at the point of swords. Nothing but the noise of the invaders' mob woke up the sleeping villagers. They came gruesome death. The invaders were organized. Each of them broke into a hut, and screams, shouts, and fear took hold of the ones. There was no time to react because of the invasion's surgical precision. The attackers were fast and merciless, as they killed the men and did not spare the male children. Colonel Forrecta watched with a smirk as the events unfolded. "It is so very easy, it is boring, General. When I visited the vicious human leader in dreams to suggest the invasion, he was entertaining." Hazug crooked an eyebrow. "How so?" "After a few nights, some techniques for the raid played too well for him to forget, so he offered suggestions. He is creative." "Admiring the bag of dirt, are you?" Forrecta laughed. "As a pet, he was nice. One morning, the man was ready for the killing spree. I had to hold him to be sure it would fit your wishes." "Enjoys it too much. He can't kill the women. It is for real now." "He won't." "How can you be so sure?" "He likes raping almost more than he enjoys killing." Floating beside the colonel, General Hazug watched the gory scenes with uncaring eyes. Yet he understood the reason Forrecta was proud of his pupil. It took the murderers less than 30 minutes to kill every male they found. After their orgy of death, the victors gathered the women and brought them to the center of the village. Hazug glanced at his faithful subordinate. "It is time for Acta." The renegade colonel nodded. His general never interacted with humans unless to savor their flesh. He despised the bags of dirt too much to go for humans for adoration. "My triumphant arrival must be terrifying," he decided. Forrecta glanced at his general, finding it even funny. The powerful being was a neophyte in something so trivial to the other renegades. A little is enough, General. Their simple minds do not stand much, he advised with tact. You are right. I never developed a good sense of their minds. The understatement of the millennia, Correct mused, and asked, Why now, my general? What changed your mind? Hazug laughed. These animals can give me something now. My plan is a special woman. I will groom her myself. The closer renegades chuckled. You might as well ask for an intelligent donkey, my general, Captain Avsk said, shaking his reptilian head. Ferrecta lifted his eyebrows but did not reprimand the subordinate. Hazel glanced at Avsky, smiling with mischief. I guess it would be easier, Captain. Yet, if she's obedient, it will be enough. It is doable if you terrify her, Avsky nodded. Treat her with facts instead, sir, Lieutenant Sicari opposed. Make it painful but pleasurable, and she will do whatever you ask to get some more. Hazel turned to Ferrecta. It seems I am the only one who doesn't like these inferior beings. Have you all enjoyed them? The colonel smirked. It has been some long millennia, sir. The soldiers needed some way to vent their anger. Hazel lifted his eyebrows. You too. Ferrecta shrugged. Hazel frowned. I guess it is pleasurable. Yeah, it put the watchers in shackles. Aren't you afraid one of them gets pregnant? Ferrecta laughed. I always warn their womb. It's fragile, General. Hazard listened to his soldiers tell stories with interest. For his battalions, he came to be a box of wonders after his call to arms. So different from his ordinary ways, it was stupefying. He was spending time asking about the humans and learning every small detail. Then, to add to their surprise, he followed Sicari's suggestion. He chose to appear on the surface as an attractive, broad-shouldered human warrior. The horde watched the Hazug's fire split the material veil. Then their general appeared to the humans. His avatar peeked at the humans over high cheekbones with malice, the touch of a challenge. The men and women shied away from the scrutiny of deep azure eyes framed by honey-colored lashes. Many fell on their knees crying. Old chains and jewels sparkled in his thick braids when he nodded at the subservience. Stay on your knees and you might survive, he growled. The fallen angel radiated danger and death. The human body inside his armor flowed with his easy movements, and he took a battle stance on the muddy ground. The creature's thick, strong thighs declared his power and practiced efficient violence. Crimson and orange fire ran his bright visual sword, humming a soft, enticing harmony. It was the angelic song, one of the few traits the renegade still carried from his former self. Before the punishment, the fallen angels were marvelous beings. They shared the Father's presence and received from his power. Now, the song was the simple mark left of what they were before the fall. The deceitful lullaby popped and crackled, creating the only noise in the sudden, sharp silence. The group of horrified humans tried to step away from the inferno, but the sword brought them nearer. Who are you? What do you want? The chief invader blurted out, astonished. I come for the women, the evil general declared. You can keep your life. The females pulled together behind the invader chief. Apart from the soft humming of his fiery weapon, the new arrival seemed worse than the murderers. He was handsome, but cruelty and viciousness seemed to be part of his skin. A vertical wrinkle creased Hazug's forehead when the women reacted with horror. It may be harder than I thought, he groaned, and his displeasure was horrible to feel in the bloody, smelling air. Killer and victims alike fell to the mud, terrorized. Colonel Foract and the battalions gathered in the sky broke into laughter. They were never surprised when their general caused fear in other renegade angels. Imagine what he did to the poor bags of dirt. The sound of his soldiers' laughter incensed General Hazug's anger. "You are good for nothing," he yelled, and his sword drew a wide arc to annihilate the weaklings. But at that very moment a roar of fury shook him off, interrupting his movement. "No, don't you dare!" An authoritative male voice slashed the air. Since the fall, General Hazug spent uncountable ages without receiving an order. Her words were appalling to his ears. Surprise and befuddlement stopped his movement. Then he watched a beauty with shiny, long, silver-blonde hair that flogged the cold air running to him. Although she had endured abuse, the gorgeous woman wasn't shedding tears. Instead, it was rage that came off of her in waves and shone in her royal blue eyes. The delicate nostrils of her elegant nose flared. Her slender, bruised and scratched arms pumped for speed. Her torn clothes flapped without purples over bare breasts tipped with pink nipples. In her haste to get to the startled general, she stumbled and kicked the cowering bodies huddled on the mud. "Stop it, ignorant, coward fools! Stand up! Try to look like you deserve saving!" she advised, chewing dirty expletives at her fellow women. "Let me pass! The warrior is right, you are good for nothing!" The four men who were after her halted at the terrifying sight of Hazug's ferocity. The fearless beauty had broken Hazug's concentration. His orange fire was now surrounding his fake human form. The gorgeous female threw herself at his feet, showing no fear. The gigantic flaming sword was a few inches away, but she did not avoid it. Some sadistic pleasure had spared her ravishing beauty. Her face was intact. "Please help me," her pink lips breathed. "I help no one, female. Besides, after you gave me an order, you sound able to save yourself." Hazug's cold answer ricocheted off the surrounding woods. Floating in the sky, Hazug's army waited in silence. That vile creature was sassy. Their general must be toying with her. However, Forecta knew better. "General Hazug found a pet," he commented, and Sicari chuckled. "She is a war maiden. Nothing frightens them. They are more vicious and cruel than any man." Forecta laughed. "It is becoming interesting." On the muddy ground, she stood with closed fists, and her eyes sparkled with rage and hate. The general's words would have affected a weak person, yet the woman growled, pointing at the invaders. "They need to die, and I want their village destroyed. My men are dead, and these pitiful whiners are a waste of air, but you can deliver." His eyes narrowed to pinpricks as he studied her with predatory attention. That did not disturb the female. Surprised, the renegade general smirked, revealing pointed teeth. "You are right, and I can kill murderers. Their actions grant me that." The invaders cringed. Hazug's alluring look deceived nobody. They saw how deadly the supernatural being was. "What's your name?" Hazug questioned her in his rumbling baritone. "Knaast, and yours?" Something unexpected was happening. Renegade General Hazug was having fun. He laughed. And so did the throng of renegades above. Nobody knew an angel's name but the Father. They used the traits as names, never the name given by the Lord of all lights. Laughing yet, he repeated, "My name. You want to know my name? No, little animal. You don't want to know my name." "Whatever," she snapped. The general soldiers followed the dialogue. What would their leader do now? No one had ever talked to him like that and survived. Yet Their leader only shook his head. "What can you offer me in exchange if I kill for you?" Hazug provoked the feisty little thing. It was funny, and it could explain his fellows looking for interaction with humans. They were oblivious to the danger in front of them, clueless. Hazug projected his voice to his legions. "Ask you are smart. A donkey has a better chance." The throng of renegades exploded in laughter, finally understanding their general. He was playing with the beautiful human, assessing her for his plans. "Do you understand I can kill you?" he asked Diela. She blinked. "What?" Hazuk sighed. "You do not respect a being so superior to you. I believe you don't see the danger." The woman snorted, pointing at the others piled up in fear behind her. "Even they understand it, but for me, revenge is more important than life." "It is, isn't it?" And his lips quirked in one side. "It seems we have something in common." Ella was brave, but not stupid. He might be thinking about her yelling and giving him orders. It was obvious that the creature above her was neither good nor prone to forgive. She mannered her tongue. "Grant me my wish, and I will do what you tell me, master." And to make it clearer, she fell to her knees and licked his toes like a trusty hound. Hazug laughed. "You are a smart, dangerous little thing. I am doing men a great service keeping you out of their hands," he said, and bent to scoop Ella from the ground. His fire could have killed her, but he toned it down, then sent her enough to give her supernatural sexual pleasure, as his lieutenant suggested. He wanted her to crave him. She screamed and panted, eyes large with surprise. His smoldering blue orbs made her gasp. "Master!" she whispered, and acknowledged him. She quaked in awe at the burning fire she saw behind the fake human eyes, but she kept her resolve. Determination, courage, and amazement met the fallen angel's eyes. He searched the depth of her pupils and liked what he saw. "Do you come to me of your free will?" "Yes, master." "Do you offer me your body and soul?" "I give you my body, my soul, and every descent from my womb." Her voluntary words made him grin. Knaast had voiced the pact he needed without his prompting. "And your revenge, did you forget it?" Her laughter was bitter. "Never." Hazug was exultant, and he wasn't alone. The fire from the horde in celebration burned up the tips of some trees. The other humans screamed, watching flames leap from the sky into the huts. The fire was roaring when Hazug lifted his hand, calling for Acta. "You heard our pact. Let's give her her share of our revenge. No survival," he ordered. "Who is there? Who are you talking to?" the chief invader asked. A grin stretched Hazug's lips. "Show yourself, Acta." The demon colonel laughed and broke the veil, his body screaming to drop out of nowhere. Screams echoed. No nightmare was worse than their terrible reality. For Recta wasn't hiding his fallen form. He was half animal, half human, and his smile made some of the women faint. The father had made the renegades Orandals. It was part of their punishment and a warning to humanity. "Hello, my pet!" the colonel greeted the chief of the invaders. The human man started to scream, recognizing the voice from his dreams. "Don't be rude," Forecta said with mockery. "You did a good job, but she has something my general wants best, and she wants you dead." The renegade colonel's brutish lips opened, and he roared. His serrated feral teeth were horrifying. The creature jumped upon the man and ripped off his throat, swallowing the chunks. Licking his lips, he told his legion, "Come down and have fun!" And his troops feasted on the killers, hunting them and tearing limbs apart. The invaders joined Ella's people in death. And while the demon corn of Orakta was shredding Ella's rapists with his long claws, she begged, "Can you put me on the ground, please, master? I want to bathe my feet in their blood." He did, smiling as she wiggled her toes in her enemy's crimson life-giving fluid. She filled the palm of her hand from a larger puddle and licked it. Hazug watched her mesmerized. He could never anticipate feeling admiration. But Ella Knaast was so much like him, he felt attracted to her. And for the first time, the fallen angel wanted a woman. Excited and drunk from her revenge, Ella Knaast grabbed the general's face. "Is this the real you, or do you look like him?" she asked, watching for Act. Hazug tilted his head. "Would you be scared if I did?" "What? No, I would be thrilled." And when Hazug felt the truth in her words, it was an assurance that he had found the perfect woman for his plans. He morphed into the fallen form. Green, yellow, and orange scales covered him, and his fingers elongated, showing huge orange claws. His head turned into the lizard's triangular shape, and his oblique eyes showed oblong pupils. His fire armor revealed itself, sparkling with gems and polished metal. The avatar's thick braids disappeared, and in their place a ridge bisected his head, reaching between his eyes. The musky smell of a reptile surrounded him. Ella licked her lips and moaned. "You are magnificent, so much strength and raw power." Feeling his body react, he promised, "I want you, little Alanas. I will make you the most powerful witch to ever walk the earth." She blinked. "You don't need to do that. I want you because I want you." Hazug opened his mouth in surprise. He had bargained for a docile breeder and found himself a partner. "Come, let me take you to the skies." Then he grabbed her. Ella wrapped her legs around his waist and plundered his mouth, giving the fallen general his first kiss. And the first kiss one never forgets. Hazug sifted his claws through her hair and let her teach him what he never guessed he would want that much. That bloody night, General Hazug of the Renegade's army had sex with a human for the first time. Thus, he discovered his fellow's constant interaction with humans had good reason. It was exhilarating. The Watcher's despair for losing their partners made a lot of sense. Then, the general gave Forakta a second task. He should find a strong, handsome man. Hazug would take possession of his body to impregnate Ella. The powerful family of warlocks and witches would come from her offspring, the Knaasts. They would breed his and the other general's heir from General Hazug first and only